Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of the No ID podcast. I have the wonderful state your name.
My name is Natasha.
Natasha, how you doing today?
You know what? I'm doing okay. I can't complain. It's a beautiful day in Virginia.
It is.
How you doing?
I'm tired, but hey, hustle knows no sleep.
Hey.
So, we're gonna touch on a little topic here. I'd like to talk about the perception that media portrays blacks in Hollywood as well as corporate America in your everyday life. Very controversial topic that I was meaning to discuss for a while. I know last episode, one of the episodes I had up here, I was talking about being black, but this is the perception that we normally get into the work environment. Tasha, you have any thoughts on that topic?
I mean, there's a bunch of different perceptions that can be painted for especially minorities or people of color and Black women, as obviously I'm a Black woman. So I'm no stranger to perceptions and being, I guess you could say, stereotyped about my personality. I have been in situations where, as a woman of color, I have felt like I've had to muzzle myself or maybe not give as much in the work environment because I don't want to be perceived as having a very dominant personality. I've had to dim my light, in other words. So I think I always use the term the Omarosa effect, right? And when I say that, people are like, what does that mean? So we know that when Omarosa was on The Apprentice, she was kind of villainized, right? And the biggest criticism was that she had a strong opinion, that she spoke her mind, and she didn't really care about other people's opinions. Does that mean that she was a bad person? No, she just kind of had that feel. So she was kind of villainized. And I feel like a lot of times we as women of color, we kind of go through that. It's a little harder.
Yeah, I mean, Tiffany Haddish touched onto it on the Shop with LeBron James, and she was talking about how, as a Black woman, if she was to go on set and demand like alkaline water or have any type of certain demand, they would look at her as bossy or the B word. Where if a Black man or any other person outside of a Black woman was to do the same thing, they would look at them like, okay, they earned this. They worked hard for this, or they're a boss. And
right.
And it's crazy because I think the Black woman is the queen of all queens. One. Number two, the Black woman is the most copied and emulated figure in the world, per se. You get a lot of women that get Botox, butt implants, injections. I see a lot of white women doing the hair weaves now, which I'm still trying to figure that out. And I think they do all of this to look like a Black woman, but don't know the history of a Black woman per se.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was just like what they disrespected Michelle Obama. Remember that a couple of years ago? She had a penis. She's a man. Oh,
right.
I'm like, yo, that's ridiculous. That's a queen. She's standing right there beside her king. So that's crazy.
Yeah, and that's the sad part about it. I read somewhere, and this is going back a few years, where they were saying the most disrespected species or human being is a Black woman. Not just for looks, but just because that's just what it is. We're always good to be beside the boss, but we can't really be the boss. In the setting that I'm in, I've been in situations, like I said before, where I have been in a room where I felt invisible. Like I'm in there with a bunch of male and female white counterparts, and I felt literally invisible. And it's not because I don't have a flaming personality, but it's just if I have something to contribute, I really have to fight 20 times harder to have my voice heard. I have to work 50 times harder to get to where I am. The industry that I'm in, there's not a lot of people that look like me. And then when I look in senior leadership, there's not a lot of people that look like me. And when you think of the concert and promotions, you would think that it should look like America, right? Because Americans are the number one consumers of music. So it's difficult to find your voice and not feel as if you're being, like I said, you have to dim your light. Even with our brothers, some of our brothers are kind of hard on us too. I remember being, even if you're talking about colorism, you know, those stereotypes that are put out in the media and things that are said in songs and lyrics, they give people that feeling that it's okay to talk and to be disrespectful or to not treat us right. But as a woman, you have to stand your ground. You have to show the world that you are somebody and your voice does matter, and you have to push through those boundaries and those stereotypes and not give them that leverage. Find your love yourself. And if you can't find that, then talk to people that can give you that, whether it's a pastor, whether it's a book. You just have to kind of lean on people that can give you what you need to advance without apologizing.
That's true. In my line of work, everybody knows I work in finance. All right, I'm a banker, and you don't see a lot of us at all. Not on the branch level, but in corporate. If you do see us in the corporate building, we are usually in collections, contact center. We're not in marketing or training and none of that stuff. Nobody
as executives.
It like us as that. When you're on the branch level, the highest you probably will see us is a branch manager. And is at the branch. It's mostly women. It's dominantly the most on the roster is women. It's nothing but women. There's 2 men that work there and the security guard. That's it. So hearing their stories about what they go through on a day to day, I mean, people saying they bossy because of their face, mean, or even them getting hit on all throughout the day, the unnecessary comments, and they're coming back to me, and I'm like, yo, what? One, I'm gonna say this: respect a woman, plain and simple. Don't make any advances to her that she does not want. Just be a gentleman, be respectful, because that could be somebody's mother, somebody's sister, aunt, or whatever the case may have you. So they go through it a lot, and they just sit there and they be quiet. And I've stood up a couple times to the point that I really can't do it anymore. I can lose my job at this point because I've got with a couple of people about what they've said to those women because I was raised better than that.
Right.
The music that is out now, as far as what I hear on the female perspective, I get tired of the sexually explicit lyrics.
Right.
I'm tired of hearing about I'm a savage and all this stuff. Like, I like Rhapsody. I grew up on Sister Soldier. You had Lady of Rage. Who else? Queen Latifah. Even the Brat. MC Light. You had a lot of lyricism in there, and there was more context. But when you look into now in this new age era, you don't get those lyricists like that, female wise.
Right. Empowerment.
The empowerment is too much empowerment, and I think they're just starting to shut down us in a negative. Females going in a negative light.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard of Rhapsody. She's dope. Like, I don't know if you've had a chance to listen to her, but she kind of gives you that feel and from a lyrical content and substance. There are some chicks that are underground, but they don't rise to that level. And I think a lot of it is because the industry is saturated with sexism and sex sells, right? So we just have to, as people like yourselves that are thinkers, that are looking for content and substance, we have to, when we are looking for these artists, we have to celebrate them in the same manner, but it's just not enough of us to do that. And a lot of these A&Rs and people that are putting out this content, what do they say? Sex sells, right? So if you ain't showing can I curse on the show?
Yeah.
If you ain't showing ass and titties, do people really, that's what people want to see. So that's a cultural thing. And unfortunately, like it's a reprogramming that needs to happen. And once people stop consuming it, then more conscious stuff, I think, will be more in the front lines and more prevalent. But I do agree with you. We do need to see females that are really making a statement and speaking about empowerment and speaking about feeling proud to be who you are and in the skin that you are in, and supporting our brothers and showing our brother that all men aren't dogs, and that there are some good people out here. We don't hear enough of that. And I come from a two-parent household, so I know what a good foundation of a loving situation looks like. So I welcome it. I would love to hear more of that. Maybe I should start rhyming.
You
I'm
start.
just joking. I'm joking.
Oh, I'm gonna just let y'all know we can cuss on this podcast. This podcast is I want to say 15 platforms, and it's globally syndicated. So as long as I'm on the platforms, I let them know it's explicit content. We good. So yes, you can cuss up here. The only word I don't want you to say up here ever is the N word. We all know what that
Okay.
means. So, you're right. And I come from a two-parent household, mother and father, still married to this day.
Mine too.
I speak to my mother every day. She is my rock and my confidant, and she gives me a lot of empowerment on a day-to-day basis. And being in the entertainment, like I'm breaking into comedy, I don't see a lot of women in general, especially black women, into it.
Why do you think that is?
I don't think they get the proper recognition that's out there. We have a lot of funny ones out there. Like in Virginia, I have Donna Lewis. I love her work. Jen Griffin, Lana Carter, Delana, I hope I pronounce her name, but she was funny. And then as far as on the upper level, that's not, Virginia based or whatever the case may be, that's actually in Hollywood. I mean, you had Tiffany Haddish, you had Monique, Laura, and the list continues. And even as far as like writing too, Issa Rae is killing it, but people don't know Issa Rae been out for years before the Insecure shit.
Oh wow, I love that show too.
Yeah, like Awkward Black Girl. That was based off. Actually, Insecure is based off of that one. She did the Flag Guys. I mean, she's done a lot of work. She's just now getting the recognition. Taraji P. Henson. She's like 50 now, but Baby Boy, y'all think that was her first movie? No, Taraji been around since the early 90s. She used to be on Smart Guy. So they're not. I don't think we get a lot of stuff.
It takes longer. I think the journey takes, like I said, longer for women of color. And you literally have to have somebody behind you that has their footing there to kind of help push you and bring you to the forefront. But this industry is so cutthroat. It is so dog eat dog world. And it makes it hard because people are trying to make it themselves. And I always never, like, even being in entertainment, like, I always, like, when I do shows or if I book a show for somebody, I always look at the local artists and they want to open up for XYZ, right? But little do they know, opening up for XYZ, that XYZ person that's headlining, they're never going to see your show. They're not even going to be in the building by the time you open up. So I try to encourage people, like, if you want your platform, you have to work just as hard. You have to work harder to get your stuff out there. And I'm sure, I mean, you've been putting in the pavement, you've been pounding the pavement and putting in the work, but it requires a lot. And if you ain't willing to invest in yourself, there's no investment. There's no greater investment than investing in yourself.
Exactly. Because, like, you can have $1 million dream, and if you don't have $1 million in front of that person, they're not going to be able to see that same vision, that same dream as you. Yes,
exactly.
I get in the grind. Yes, before the corona came around, yes, I was Monday through Friday, I was open mic, writing, everything, constantly. It was some nights I hit 2 or 3 at night, and I was still recording the podcast, of course, and continue grinding. My first podcast person on there that I interviewed was my mother, okay, comedian, and she had to break down a couple of barriers in comedy school, especially being older and being a black woman. And she's very highly educated. You can hear it when she speaks, but she's breaking down barriers. My sister, another one, yourself. And if you really want to fast forward like corporate America, I said black people ain't in it, but there's a lot of black women that's not in executive positions at any of the jobs that I worked at all. They don't get celebrated enough. They don't get the credit. And I think it's crazy.
And we'll push the ideas out there and someone else will take credit for it. Or they'll act as if they don't hear your idea. And then 3 weeks later, you see the very idea that you pitched that your leadership or your management didn't pay attention to. And now it's pitched on a presentation for everybody to see. And you're like, whoa, like I literally just, but you acted as if you didn't hear me. So then what I started to do is I stopped talking. I stopped engaging because you're not going to take my ideas. I just stopped. Not that that's the right answer, but that's what I did for a period of time. But yeah, we have to find our voice. I don't understand why, but the Bible says, what is it? The first will be last, the last will be first. I think we're kind of seeing a little bit of that now with what's happening on the news with police brutality and the light being shined on things. Will that enact change? I don't know, but I hope it does. We'll see.
Too. Because for one, I was irate with the news that about George Floyd. I saw everything. I saw the video. I watched it every time. I've been to the marches. I've been protesting. But I'm not putting anybody down as far as the protest, but we do need to say their names as well, too. Sandra Bland.
Yeah.
You don't hear about her. This is Tamara Horsford. They don't bring her up. That was the one that actually went to a sleepover with 7 other white women, and the next day she was thrown off a balcony, found dead. So I don't see their names celebrated, shouted on the protest, and they need to be shouted.
And all the Black mothers that have lost their children, they need to be just like there needs to be therapy. And that's the other problem when we see this trauma happening to our race, right? We've been conditioned to just glaze over it, and a lot of people, whereas older people I've been talking to about this, they made a point to say, these young people are fearless. And I says, well, you know why that is? And they're like, they just don't care. I'm like, no. How many videos have you seen where, and I'm just being honest, there's a fight between two adults or women or men or both, and there's a little shorty, a little kid watching that. So what happens when that little child wakes up and he grows up and he starts to see that same violence being, it's in second nature for him, right? Because he saw this behavior when he was a child. That's his normalcy. So he's not going to be as fearful as someone who wasn't brought up in that type of environment where they didn't see violence and they didn't see fighting. So I think a lot of what we're seeing now with these young kids saying, yeah, I know COVID is a reality, but I'll die for COVID to make a statement. That's just the culture that we're in right now. And I applaud them because, somebody has to take a stance, I don't know. I just kind of look at it from so many different, so many different point of views. Like I just, I don't know, I get it.
Well, I get it. I'm willing to die for my people. I was willing to risk my job at the protest when I was there, because anybody knows you work at a bank, if you get arrested, you're done for, because my fingerprints are registered with the federal government. I think also too, I don't want to keep your stuff into something different, but I really can't stand the whole world star.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
Being older,
the showing the fights and stuff like that. It's unnerving. I agree.
And it's always
there's another one too that's called Fly Height. Flyheight.com. It's another one that's like that too.
World Star was started up by this guy named Q years ago, and then it just turned to these fight videos. You actually got to pay to put those videos up there.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
So
people pay to put the videos up there, and the only reason I know, I was gonna put my stand up there one time, and I was like, nah, I can't do that because what I stand for, and I don't want my name World Star. And you see, what was the craziest one I saw was it was all women, and these ladies were fighting inside of a Denny's or IHOP, and they were just grabbing hair, pulling it, throwing chairs. One of them was butt naked, still trying to fight. I'm like, yo, what is this like? And what gets me is they'll show this type of shit online. The minute you put a positive black image or something against police brutality, oh, it's reported, it's reported, it's reported. And
Right.
I don't mean to keep, like I said, I don't mean to keep stepping over, but going back to the George Floyd thing and the Sandra Bland videos, I don't know who recorded that stuff. That's not my business. But watching that thing really made me upset, and it ruined my day. It showed a light, but it just seemed like that video just kept going. The more social media I was on, and the more outlets I was on, the more I kept seeing it, and it was infuriating, you know, because like I said, that could have been me.
Yeah.
My Arbery's thing, I saw that. I ride a bike in my neighborhood in the morning. That could have been me. Sandra Bland, I've been pulled over by the police numerous times uh, for nothing.
Mm.
So, yeah, it bothers me. And I think a lot of times, too, when it comes to the plight of a black woman with the media and the perception that they get, I really think in a way it kind of affects uh, going forward as far as like their personal life if they were to date.
Mhm. Mhm. It does. That's why I'm very guarded as far as me personally and how I open myself up to, people, because the foundation, I like to make sure that anybody that I'm bringing into my universe or that their spirit is right. You know what I'm saying? That their foundation is right, that their core is right. People can tell you whatever, but it's what comes. It's. And I always say this, and I've seen it on a commercial recently too. Character is who you are when you think no one's looking, right? So I'm looking at your character when you don't think I'm looking at your character, and you can tell a tree by the fruit it bears. So if I'm not sure, if I'm wavering, there's a reason, because I want to make sure that if I am bringing somebody into my universe and into my life, that it is the right somebody. Life is too short. We see it every day, and we need to be on the same page.
I know we need to be on the same page. And there's no reason for you not to be guarded and protect yourself and protect your universe because your mind, your body, and your spirit is a temple. You don't want to let anybody into that
That's right.
circle. So,
Man.
amen. So,
Amen.
I'm not a preacher,
As
a biblical person, but I'll say this, right? I know, because I know the plight of a black woman. I just want to throw this, I'm not racist, but I would never put down a black woman. And I would never see myself settling down with a woman outside of my nationality, mainly because I believe a woman outside of my nationality couldn't teach my daughter how to be a queen or my son how a queen is supposed to act, a black queen is supposed to act. So for me, when it comes to dating, yes, I can talk game all day, but I will back it up. If I'm gonna do something, I'm saying I'm gonna do it. There's no hidden communications, no barriers with me at all. You know, you want the password to my phone, that's fine. I have nothing to hide. I use the same password for everything, so it's simple. And I'm going to treat you in the light that you're supposed to be treated. A man will treat a woman the same way that he treats his mother. So if I have a great relationship with my mother, I'm going to have a great relationship with you. That's how I was brought up. That's how I was raised. So when I actually go out to court a woman, you know, I'm of course get the conversation going, and I'm a gentleman. I still believe in asking somebody out on a date. I don't believe in coming over the house on the first date, the second date, the third. That takes a couple of months for me because it's safety on both parts, just in case. You know, you want to get that vibe. And I would say old school. Like I don't want to do too much, but I would like bring some flowers or something. Not on the first date, but I would treat my queen if I am to get one because I'm very much single. The way that she's supposed to be treated, in the light that she's supposed to be in, and as a unit, as a team, you know they always tell you, you know, you're supposed to meet somebody halfway. Well, halfway is 50%. 50% back in school, you failed. That's 100%. Your relationship should be a marathon. If I'm telling her, I want to be a comedian, I want to get the podcast going, I want to do this, I want to do that, she should be there in my corner.
To
And
support
she's
you.
telling me and support me 100%.
Yeah,
Even
I
me
agree.
going to those bars and those nightclubs that's smoky, that's fine. If she says she wants to do the same thing, or she wants to, I want to do this, I want to promote, I want to do X, Y, and Z. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know much about it, but I promise you I will Google everything that I need to know about it to where you're gonna tell me, all right, that's enough. But I'm gonna help push you into that direction. That's the unit, and the way that I see now in 2020, I see a lot of memes like uh sad peace Saturday, sad N-word Sunday. That's not cool. All right. You got one woman, that's all you need. You don't need two or three. It's not worth it. You're gonna have a good one. And if it's not a good one, you move on, y'all split up, but you don't badmouth her or you don't badmouth him at the end. And I see that a lot. Like those memes, what's that meme I saw one time? She was like, "You got food?" And he was like, "Well, you got kids?" And next thing you know, she was like, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, I just wanted the sandwich. I didn't want the combo." And I was like, "What?" I ain't get it. But I think a lot of stuff just gets disrespected as far as a black woman. I know as a black man, I do my part to make sure I protect the black woman. And I push the black woman into a positive light. I don't call them out their names. I don't disrespect them. I refuse to do that because, like, if that's somebody's mother, that's somebody's sister. Then on the funny side, I'm 5'4". Ain't much fighting I'm gonna do. I'm not a fighter. I'm not gonna fight.
You're a lover. You're not a fighter. In other words.
I make jokes. I make love. I don't make fights. I don't fight nobody. So you won't see that. And I think like the media, like the way the media portrays that is just crazy. You see I have no problem with the flashy clothes, the baggy hair. That's your style. That's what you gotta live with. Look in the mirror. That's your business. I wear similar stuff. It's just I'm a little tame. But I think the media like portrays that on a woman in general, especially a black woman, in a negative light, especially when it comes to dating.
Right. I agree.
I was rambling, but I was.
No, I mean I get it. Everything you said is very valid, and we need to take a hard look at ourselves and kind of figure out,
And
where
be
this comes from.
Do it. Don't just say it. If I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. Now, I ain't the best person, to fix something in the house, but damn it, I'll Google it. Hell, I'll just make a phone call and get the repairman out there. But I'm gonna do it, and
Right.
that's it. That's pretty much it. Did you want to leave off the fans of No ID with anything? Are you single?
Is that a part of the interview question?
Yeah, it is.
I am not dating at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Not dating at the moment.
I got you.
The Lord ain't sent me my husband yet. I've been waiting on the Lord for him, but he ain't came yet.
Well, if somebody comes around and tries, give them a shot. Don't block the door.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Don't block the door. I mean, I've seen guys try for 6 years to try and get women. I know they be telling them to give up, but they see something special in this woman. So just give them a shot.
I you know what? I agree. You're right. Oh my gosh, you are hilarious.
Well, I am a comedian. I mean,
You are funny, and I'm very curious about what's on your wall, but we'll talk about that offline.
oh, wait, if you guys want to know, I'm renting a house from my parents. I do not live with my parents. We are renting. Me and my sister have rent. So this is my old childhood.
Is that Tupac behind you or no? On the other side.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, see, I know too. I know Pac. I'm a Pac fan.
I'm renting because of the COVID in July of this year coming up, 2020. I was actually supposed to move to Chicago permanently. And
What's in Chicago?
I got accepted to a writers academy,
Oh, that's great.
but the COVID slowed me down. Unfortunately, I'm back at square one.
That's
So
all right. That
that's
means God got something better.
come January, I will be reapplying to that program, but I only got to really figure out how this is gonna work, especially with stand up since I ain't done it in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm out of shape as far as timing and everything, but I'll get back to it. But
You will.
that's what it is. Did you want to leave the folks off with something officially?
No, what I will say to everyone, if you're brown, black, white, whatever, just love each other. Um, if you have a difference of opinion with someone, it's okay to have a difference of opinion, but just be willing to be respectful and have the dialogue, listen with open ears and an open heart. And if you are a black female and you feel that you don't have a voice and you don't fit in, it's okay not to fit in. Find yourself, and it's okay to be different, and it's okay to be, unique. Find the beauty in being different, and don't let anybody steal your joy. Okay.
Follow me at Comedian Rome on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Cameo, and YouTube. You can follow the podcast. We just got an Instagram page not too long ago, but we're
I'm
doing
gonna follow your page, your podcast page. I don't know about that.
No ID podcast on IG. I always have this saying. I learned this from one of my mentors in the entertainment. You follow me, I definitely will follow you back. Um, if you shout me out, I will definitely shout you out back as well too. That's just something that I do. Um, this podcast comes out every Tuesday, so we in season 2 right now. So we are 17 episodes in.
Yeah, congratulations. And I'm glad. Thank you for the invitation. I had a great time.
I did too.
You're hilarious.